let's jump right into this explainer. We're diving headfirst into the high-drama, trope-heavy romance phenomenon that's completely taken over the reading world, Ana Huang's Twisted series. If you're someone who loves extreme stakes, billionaire empires, hidden royal lineages, and love stories that blur the line between deeply romantic and, well, delightfully chaotic, you are absolutely in the right place.
But real quick before we unpack all this chaos, mandatory alert, the full audiobook is available through the link in the description. Literally right down there. Make sure you check that out. All right, let's get into the series.
Okay, let's dive into this. The whole Twisted universe is built on a foundation of 4 interconnected novels. We're going to conquer these chronological romances today. We move from a brooding billionaire to an overprotective royal bodyguard, then over to a grudge-holding doctor, and we wrap up with a deeply intense tech CEO. Since each book focuses on a different couple within the exact same core friend group, the drama frequently overlaps in the best way possible.
Here's our quick roadmap. We've got Book 1, Twisted Love, Book 2, Twisted Games, Book 3, Twisted Hate, and Book 4, Twisted Lies. We're going to hit the setup, the pivotal plot twist, and the massive grand gesture for each specific couple.
Starting us off, Book 1, Twisted Love, Ava and Alex.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we get the ultimate grumpy meet sunshine combined with the classic brother's best friend trope. We open with a brilliant meet-cute. Ava, a sunny photography student, is stranded in a rainstorm. Her brother, Josh, sends his best friend, Alex Volkov, who is basically a genius human iceberg of a COO, to rescue her. The chaos really kicks off when Alex actually moves into Josh's place next door to keep an eye on Ava while Josh is away. Naturally, Ava and her friends immediately launch Operation Emotion Extraction to see if Alex actually has, feelings. Spoiler alert, he does. He starts calling her Sunshine and they fall super hard. But the timeline completely explodes at Thanksgiving. Ava's father is exposed for trying to drown her as a child, and Alex helps arrange this dramatic confrontation to get him jailed. Actually, scratch that, it gets crazier. It's revealed Alex has his own massive trauma because his parents were murdered by his uncle Ivan. When Ivan then kidnaps Ava, Alex swoops in to save her, but brutally tells her she was just a fling, just to protect her from his dangerous life. Ouch.
And that leads us to this incredible quote that perfectly captures the BookTok energy of this series. He goes full John Wick, pumping 6 bullets into Uncle Ivan. I mean, Alex's violent rescue mission is peak romance thriller drama, for sure. But his just a fling lie totally shatters Ava. Adding insult to injury, when Ava's brother Josh finds out how Alex treated her, he responds by literally beating Alex into next week. And Alex? He just takes the punches, whispering that he actually does love her. So to win her back, Alex has to follow Ava all the way to a photography fellowship in London. He delivers daily breakfasts and even sings off-key at her exhibition. It's the absolute ultimate grovel.
Next up, we transition to the second book, Twisted Games, Bridget and Reese.
Here, the stakes shift from corporate billionaire drama to literal royalty. We get the incredibly popular princess and bodyguard dynamic, with Bridget, a princess of Eldora, living in disguise, and Reese Larson, her brooding ex-Navy SEAL bodyguard. And the complications they face are massive. Out of nowhere, Bridget's brother Nikolai decides to abdicate the throne for an American woman. Suddenly, Bridget goes from living a normal life to being next in line for the crown. Before her royal duties consume her, she and Reese take this steamy, bucket list trip to Costa Rica where their forbidden chemistry completely boils over. But reality hits hard back in Eldora. Someone leaks their relationship to the press, her grandfather has a heart attack, and Bridget is suddenly forced to abide by archaic royal marriage laws, meaning she has to dump Reese and agree to marry some boring, crusty duke. No way.
So, the crucial point is how they maneuver out of this seemingly impossible trap. They employ a ruthless 4-step strategy. Step 1, they uncover a massive secret. Rice is actually the illegitimate son of the shady nobleman, Lord Erhall. Step 2, they use this, along with other dirt they dig up, to straight-up blackmail Parliament. Step 3, they successfully leverage this to repeal the restrictive royal marriages law. And Step 4, they get their ultimate happily ever after with a massive fairy tale wedding, proving Rice Larson is the ultimate protective hero who will literally alter a country's government for the woman he loves.
Let's keep the momentum going with Book 3, Twisted Hate, Jules and Josh.
And this brilliantly illustrates the shift to the ultimate enemies-to-lovers setup. On the left, we've got Jules. She's a messy, fiercely loyal law student with a toxic past, constantly running from a psycho ex named Max. On the right, we have Josh. Yep, Ava's brother from Book 1. He's the golden boy, hospital heartthrob who holds incredibly deep grudges. He's hated Jules for years, viewing her as this reckless, bad influence. But all that tension finally snaps during a snowy ski trip. Years of mutual hatred ignite into a casual, incredibly steamy physical arrangement. They both think they can somehow keep feelings out of it since they're totally distracted by their own respective family baggage.
But, the past always catches up. Jules' psycho ex, Max, tracks her down and blackmails her with some truly devastating material. He forces her to steal an ugly painting that actually belongs to Josh. When Jules comes clean to Josh and begs for forgiveness, he pulls a genuinely ruthless move. He uses her deepest fears against her and kicks her out into the cold, creating a situation that the source material perfectly dubs Heartbreak City, Population Jules.
Following the heist and that brutal breakup, the real turning point happens during a vicious attack. Max goes full villain and pushes Jules down a flight of stairs. When she ends up in the ER, guess who the doctor treating her is? Josh! Seeing her hurt makes Josh realize he's been absolutely the worst. He teams up with his former enemy Alex from Book 1 to enact some highly questionable legal revenge on Max. Then, Josh has to grovel so hard to win Jules back. They eventually reconcile, cementing their bond by bungee jumping in New Zealand, because hey, if they can survive their own toxic trauma, they can definitely survive gravity.
Finally, we reach the conclusion of the series with Book 4, Twisted Lies, Stella and Christian.
This book introduces the fake dating trope. Stella is a picture-perfect but broke influencer who desperately needs a fake boyfriend to secure a massive luxury fashion deal. After she interviews a bunch of terrible candidates, her brooding, intense billionaire landlord, Christian Harper, steps in. But he doesn't do it just to be a nice guy. Stella has a stalker who has suddenly resurfaced, and Christian wants an excuse to protect her full-time.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because Christian takes protection to a whole new level. He literally installs secret cameras in her apartment to keep her safe. But the massive, creepy, yet undeniably romantic plot twist is that Christian has actually secretly orchestrated their entire relationship. He has been obsessively watching her for years, acting like a lovesick FBI agent. When Stella discovers the depths of his obsession and realizes their meeting wasn't a coincidence, she totally flips out. In complete shock, she packs her bags and flees to London. Which leads to our final grand gesture of the series. Christian follows her to London, but he doesn't force his way back in. Instead, he starts doing the saddest, sweetest grand gestures. He buys her breakfast, actually respects her boundaries for once, and gives her space. The climax comes when this deeply private, guarded billionaire publicly confesses his raw emotional love for her at her photography exhibit, proving he's willing to actually change to win her back.
And that brings us to the ultimate twisted takeaway. Choose your trope. Across all 4 books, Ana Huang has masterfully mapped out the modern romance experience. She delivers extreme stakes, intense betrayals, massive character flaws, and undeniably epic grand gestures. So, looking at everything we've covered today, I have to ask, which of these twisted billionaires, royals, or doctors would you want a grand gesture from? Let that sink in. And before we wrap up, don't forget that the full audiobook is available through the link in the description. You definitely don't want to miss experiencing this series for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.